Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like your pain had become part of your personality? Like you've carried it for so long, it started to feel like who you are? You're not alone. So many of us build our lives around wounds we never meant to keep. Not because we want to suffer, but because we were never taught how to truly let go. Letting go is one of the most misunderstood practices on the spiritual path. It's not weakness. It's not apathy. It's not denial. Letting go is an act of power, of clarity, of sacred self-remembrance. Today I want to take you on a journey through the eyes of someone who finally learned how to let go, not just of a person or a memory, but of the version of herself shaped by pain. She had lived in survival for years. Every day was a silent battle, not with the world, but with her own nervous system. Her body had memorized stress. Her brain ran the same thought loops on repeat. No matter how far she tried to move forward, she kept being pulled back. She wasn't just thinking about what hurt her. She was reliving it. Her heart would race. Her breath would shorten. Her stomach would twist into knots. Because the body doesn't know the difference between what's happening now and what happened 10 years ago. It just responds to the signal. And when that signal is danger, it shrinks. It tightens. It prepares to defend. But what if the real danger isn't the memory itself, but the way we keep reactivating it? One day she sat still. No distractions. No phone. No music. Just her breath and the quiet hum of her body. She started to notice where the pain lived, in her chest, her jaw, her gut. And instead of running, she stayed. She didn't fix it. She didn't fight it. She simply witnessed it. That moment of witnessing, that's where transformation begins. Science now confirms what monks have known for centuries. Every thought creates a chemical response. And over time, our brains wire themselves around the emotions we rehearse the most. For her, it had been anxiety, resentment, fear of abandonment. And her brain, it had built a fortress around those feelings. Until one question cracked the walls. Who am I without my pain? That question didn't just come from the mind, it came from the soul. And for the first time, she allowed it. She didn't know who she'd become without the sadness, but she was willing to find out. A Buddhist monk once told me, letting go isn't losing yourself, it's losing what you are not. She wasn't broken. She wasn't her story. She was the sky, not the weather. That's what we call in Buddhist practice, anatta, no self. She started showing up differently. She spoke less to please. She paused before reacting. She walked into rooms without shrinking. Every morning she visualized the woman she was becoming. She asked herself, how does she breathe? How does she speak? What does peace look like in her body? And then she rehearsed being her, not pretending, embodying. There was a moment I remember so clearly. She whispered to me, I kept waiting for someone to see me, to understand me, to validate the pain I carried. And then she said, but what if I stopped waiting? That was the day she stopped outsourcing her freedom. She stopped waiting for the apology. She stopped waiting for closure and started doing for herself what only she could. Set herself free. Her mornings became sacred. She meditated. She journeyed. She whispered into herself, I am safe. I am grounded. I am allowed to be joyful. These weren't just affirmations. They were frequencies. And she was tuning herself to a new vibration. I remember her telling me, there was a moment I felt so overwhelmed by grief. But then I remembered what you said, that emotions are like clouds, and I'm the sky. She smiled and said, that helped me breathe again. That's the heart of letting go. You are not your sadness. You are not your story. You are the awareness that sees it come and go. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering without relapsing, witnessing without becoming. I once worked with a client in her 60s, a grandmother, who told me, I've carried anger for so long, it became the only thing I trusted. She wasn't angry at one thing, she was angry at life. But beneath that anger was grief. And beneath that grief was a younger self, still waiting to be held. We worked not on releasing the past, but on reconnecting with the part of her that had been silenced. When she finally let go of who she was trained to be, she didn't lose herself. She found herself. Letting go isn't just emotional, it's energetic, cellular, spiritual. She stopped reacting and started creating. She stopped explaining herself and started embodying herself. Letting go didn't make her cold, it made her clear. Her nervous system, once addicted to survival, finally began to rest. And people around her noticed. They felt the difference in her energy. She no longer played into drama. She no longer begged for closure. She no longer dimmed her light to make others comfortable. Neuroscience tells us the brain doesn't wait for results to change. It changes when your internal environment changes. That's why she made her mornings sacred. She stopped reaching for her phone. She reached inward first. She asked herself, what energy am I choosing today? She visualized love, stillness, power. Not as fantasy, but as practice. She rehearsed being the woman she had always envisioned. And over time, her nervous system began to recognize this as truth. So now I want to ask you, what story are you still reliving? What version of yourself have you outgrown? What pain are you still calling home? It's okay to grieve. It's okay to not know who you'll become without the pain. But I promise you this, who you really are is not your story. It's your presence, your stillness, your courage to let go. And when you align your thoughts, your breath, and your being with that truth, life doesn't just change, it opens. If this touched something in you, breathe with it, reflect on it, and maybe share it with someone you love. You are not alone, you're not late, you're not broken, you're right on time, and you are awakening. Subscribe for more soul-healing stories every week.